Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, that's literally it. That's that simple to get it started.
Mm.
You know, welcome back to another episode of the Grind Time podcast. This is going to either be the last episode of the first season, or the first episode of the second season, where I bring in all the athletes and everything else. So today, I have a good friend of mine here. That is one of the athletes, somebody I work with on a couple shoots and everything else.
Yeah.
Been through a lot over here, so I can't wait for him to tell you about all this. You know, he's been filling me in over the last couple of months, all this wildness going on. But I want to welcome my boy Flex Shady, Mr. Hunter.
Yeah.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't even realize you had other seasons.
Yeah, I've been shooting several episodes. I've been doing a lot of it behind the scenes right now, just getting a lot of them knocked out before I even drop the first one. I'd rather be 10 steps ahead than, just going with the flow. And because most people's schedules, like the last one I did here recently, like me and my boy Tyler, like our schedules are either just going to work out that day out of nowhere, or we'll be waiting 2 or 3 months to get linked up together to do something, but it's always for the better. But that's literally how it goes. So, we're going to, tell a little bit of your backstory. How did you get into working out? Where'd you start at and everything else? Like, give me a little rundown.
Yeah, so you want me to throw a hook in there?
Go ahead.
Okay, so people probably wondering why I call myself Flex Shady or the Slim Shady of bodybuilding. I mean, basically, I was in the gym one day. This guy, he'd helped me get my job, and, he supported me since I was very young. He looks like Dr. Phil. You've ever seen Dr. Phil,
wow.
Obviously, yeah?
Wow.
Built like Dr. Phil type shit.
That's something.
Anyways, he came up to me, he's like, we should call you Flex Smith, because that's my last name. I was like, but there's someone already called Flex Lewis. I'm like, I can't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, it just stuck. It was like, oh, Flex Shady, because I want to be like the Slim Shady of bodybuilding. One of the greatest to ever do it, Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like it or not, was the greatest rapper to ever live. His flow and level of reach and fame and how he blew up definitely was. But that and my childhood, if you watch his documentary, I was like, damn, this is so close. I mean, I didn't grow up in a trailer park or anything, but it's just so close to how he grew up. Bodybuilding was my escape. He'd go outside, he'd do little drawings and stuff. I mean, he was damn near Marvel level with his drawings.
True. I do remember that. It's like, that's a lot to think about. It's like, yeah, a lot of people, just like, to get to this point where we're at, have been through so much already, and so many people just don't know about it. And that's one of the best things about having this, is like, I can go through and like actually sit down and like talk about all the things I've been through, because like slowly and surely, over the time and many different episodes, like you'll get to keep hearing different parts and stories and seasons of my life throughout. Like there's always been these different little pockets of, oh, when I worked security, like I just went and hung out with a whole bunch of people I used to work with, and it's just like bringing that back up. So many memories came back, and it's just like, man, if we had all the footage when we was working, I'd be in jail.
But be in jail? Yeah. I got some of it. I'm questionable about posting just yet. I mean, we could touch on that later, but I'm trying to get into Freemasonry and stuff. We can talk about that later, but it's crazy the level they do background checks, investigate your account and stuff, so I'm not trying to post anything stupid just yet. Eventually, maybe I will. Yeah, but so, I mean, as far as how I started, just think about it today as I went here. It's probably like 11 or 12. I remember getting on a bike. My dad's like, man, you need to lose some weight. I was like, okay, need to lose some weight. And my brother that's older than me, and my middle one, because I'm the youngest of four, he's just like got abs for existing. So he's not out of shape, but, well, his diet says otherwise. But
I get that. I understand. I've had a lot of friends like that. You just don't understand the struggle. You just had them. You were blessed with them to start with. You don't know the struggle.
Yeah, he was actually in the Coast Guard at one time, but he came back like out of shape. He's like, yeah, I think I need to quit eating so much bullshit. And then he got his abs back pretty quick, still eating bullshit. I mean, he'd do this garbage of starve himself all day, but then eat a bag of popcorn every night. It's like, why do you do that? No. His friend was doing it too, but his friend was fucking fat, so it's like, damn. Guess it just works for him.
Right. If it works for you, just go ahead. But it won't work forever.
Yeah.
It'll catch you at some point, I've learned.
Those things are only like 600 calories anyways. So it's like, whatever. That's why he's sitting up with abs. That's why people sit up with abs. They just burn, more than they're taking in. But So then my oldest brother, he actually is out of shape and stuff. So I'm like sitting here, well, why is he only picking on me? Whatever. I guess it was maybe I don't know. He probably couldn't see my potential back then. But then I was like riding my bike one day. I'm gonna lose weight and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably 11 or 12. I was like, okay, this is too hard. Fuck this. I'll try in the summer again. And I'm surprised looking back on it that I just gave up like that. But then come summertime, finally was doing it every day. And there was this teacher. He's walking outside. I only started off doing 4 miles. I'm surprised I lost so much weight. It was only like 30 pounds. I was chubby, but I wasn't fat.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So
But saw him walking out there, and then slowly I'd go up to 8 miles. That's like back and forth. You'd have to go from my house. It's called East Middle School up to there. Then come back, do it again. So I'd walk past him. He's doing the same thing, trying to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
In class one day, he's like, "Aren't you that kid out there that's out there riding that bike or whatever?" I was like, "Yeah." And this is back when I had so much social anxiety. If you were to talk to me, I wouldn't even be able to form a sentence or whatever.
Oh me.
Yep.
Oh me. I mean, it do be like it. It really do. But you can tell at a very early age you got started with it, like actually grinding. Yeah, we all quit on stuff. Like that was me with a lot of times in sports. It's like I didn't learn until after the fact. Like after I didn't have sports, like in high school, that's when I really started to actually start working out, and it was something I actually enjoyed. But like when it came to sports, as soon as it got hard or something like that, or why do we got to do all this running and everything else during the off season? It wasn't until later on in life when I started seeing people who were doing that stuff, not even with like coaches being there and everything else. And I was like, that's the real hard work in the dark I started to see that took to actually get to the next level. Where everybody talks about, oh, it's all about, genetics and you already got to have the God-given talent. But it's like, if you really put in the work, it can still set you apart. And that's what I learned, because it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know or don't have that backstory or never had any type of thing to have had to overcome like that and actually start early and putting in that work to lose weight or something like this per se. But
Yeah. No. So I mean, even if you have all the genetic potential in the world, you're not gonna get there unless you put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what everyone slowly discovers.
Mm-hmm.
Hard work beats talent when talent don't work.
Exactly.
Remember that from this marketing manager I had one time that completely screwed me out of the ass, but it was from one of his songs, so I guess it's something good I got from him. I was watching Zerka the other night, and he's talking about how, how people say be your own boss.
Mm-hmm.
They're more talking about escaping the 9 to 5, but he puts it as never be your own boss, basically always have a coach. I mean, if you look at people, why does Drake have people write his own lyrics for him? Why does he write his own, or have people write lyrics for him? I mean, it's just because he knows it's like,
My opinion
all right.
is he's just trash, but
Well, that too. I've heard stuff. My girlfriend she always like says I hate everyone in Hollywood because they're rapists or something. So I always make jokes of, yeah, I heard he's a convicted rapist. He started this OnlyFans scandal and he's paying people under the table and stuff. I said, like
I
every
wouldn't be
celebrity.
surprised, man. There's so much. There's people they put on these pretty smiles and all this, and a lot of them are always up to something, and it all comes out. What happens in the dark shows in the light, and we're starting to see that, like P. Diddy going down, and so many more. Like there's so many of them, and it's like, oh yeah, all that stuff you've been doing all these years, you thought you were above the law, above everything, but after a while, it'll catch up. Sooner or later, it'll catch up to you, and that's how it's me. I'm just like, if you don't do nothing, you ain't got nothing to worry about.
Yeah,
But
she was saying how it's pretty smart what she was saying. Basically, how did she put it? Oh, they get so cocky with the fame and stuff. They think eventually they can get away that everyone's kissing their ass, and then, like you're saying, it comes to light.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, he was saying how always have someone just be your coach. I mean, you can't do it without a coach. Just basically have someone that's already done the trial and error. You avoid it, get fast track there, and it's like, I'll just shut up and do the work. I mean, as long as you know who you're listening to is the right person.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you still have to do some of your own research, but
Yeah.
a lot of times it helps. Like, there's always somebody that knows something more about something than you do. And if you keep that mindset with things, you'll always be set. Because as soon as you think you know it all is when you fall. Pride comes before the fall, as I always say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as, so I'd lost the weight. Mm-hmm. First people were calling me whatever, chubby, fat, whatever the hell they were calling me. Now they're calling me skinny, so I'm like, damn, okay. I wasn't even that skinny.
That changed fast.
Yeah, I had good muscle insertions and stuff, and I probably had more muscle than most people my age. But grandma's like, hey, skinny. It's like, all right, damn, now I got to add on muscle. So I'm in here lifting in my garage because I wasn't old enough to lift in the base gym yet. That's where I started because it was free. And we kind of convinced them towards the end because I'd go upstairs and ride the bike. So eventually it turned into more 8 miles and I was doing 30 miles in an hour upstairs doing this interval crap.
Mm-hmm.
So I was skinny and stuff, lifting my garage. But then once I got in the gym, my dad originally tried to stop it, making excuses. Oh, I don't want to ask if he can get in there early and stuff. I guess it was an insecurity of I might possibly get bigger than him now.
Yeah, it definitely was it.
Yeah.
You know, he could see the signs and the writings on the wall, and he was just like, "This is my time to stop this now, because if I don't, I might tell him to do something, and he's going to tell me no."
Yeah.
I could see that.
Oh, yeah, because bigger. Yeah, I was watching something like that last night. Apparently, my girlfriend went to the school that went on Dr. Phil or something. So the guy was like 6 foot something. His dad was shorter, and he's like, I'm just intimidated by him. I can't tell him to do nothing now. That's what it makes me think of.
Most definitely. So what age was that right there? You started lifting and everything?
So probably I was in the garage about 13 going into almost 14, and then towards the end, they're like, yeah. Some girl dressed was like, yeah. Because I used to come in there, and she'd be like, well, he never talks to me or some shit. Or looking big, dumb shit. I'm surprised at that age she was flirting with me.
Didn't even know it.
Yeah, yeah. It was like, probably because I was just like, fuck it, and ignored it. But my mom was able to convince, so she was probably my first kind of like supporter, surprisingly, even though there's been a weird motive behind it, wanting to be the most influential relationship in my life. But she started getting me where I could go in there. They'd go with me every day, and then slowly he'd start taking me and stuff. He might bitch and moan at the end or whatever. Oh, you're taking too long. Sitting there doing sit-ups. He's done 200 reps of sit-ups waiting on me to finish up with cardio. But eventually that's when I started going in there. But the first week, it was just right place, right time. There was a guy on the treadmill observing me, and I actually came in there with like a plan, even though I wasn't training right. I was overtrained. I'd do like chest, back, then legs, train my chest and back every day of my life. Same shit every day.
Several people like that, and I've helped. But yes.
So it was this routine I got. You remember that Scooby guy?
Yeah. I think
He was on YouTube. He's like this older guy. I didn't even know he was gay. That took me a little bit to discover that. I was like, oh, this guy, he's got a husband? What?
Wait a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, I started off with a routine with him. You could literally just do it in your house, and that's what I slowly moved out in my garage because they were worried about, oh, you stunt your growth and all that myth or whatever.
Yeah. Just do whatever they can to stop you from actually, bettering your life and doing the one thing that is like almost the most healthiest thing you can do out in this world for your lifespan and everything. Like lifting weights is one of the best things for everything, like stress, any kind of thing, pain, overcoming. I mean, you build up the body will defend itself from anything. And it's literally given sickness and stuff like that. People will get sick, and I'm just like, I'm fine. I think I might be sick, but I'm going to still get this workout in because I know I'm going to feel better after it.
Yeah, that's definitely me. I'd be sitting up in there, okay, trying to train until I'm damn near needing to be hospitalized. All right, fuck this. I'm sick. I'm going to the doctor.
It takes a lot. I'm like, I felt like there might have been at one point I had COVID, but I still showed up to the gym. I might have struggled and barely did any type of cardio, half the weights. I called it a deload week. That's what that week was, a deload week, because that was about all the weight I could move, but I did not miss my workouts. I couldn't do it. Like, I don't know how people that don't work out just do that lifestyle.
What lifestyle?
Just not working out. Like I've hit that point where it's like I've done this since like high school. I don't know how I can go multiple weeks not in the gym to start my day. Like most people need coffee. I need to go lift some weights before I can really get a good day started. Like maybe 1 or 2 days, that's my weekends, and that's it. That I might not be in the gym, but other than that, like I need the weights to survive.
Yeah, it's just a part of you. I'm the same way. I actually got COVID during one contest prep. It was towards the last week. This old guy was coming in. I just finished up cardio. I'm sitting here, man, I'm about going to cardiac arrest. I'm doing this while I got COVID. No one knows about it. I'm not telling them because I don't want them worried. Oh, he's got COVID, and send him in a panic. This is right around the COVID thing. He comes in the bathroom on my phone. I literally just finished everything. I'm texting my coach trying to figure out, should I pull out of this competition? He's giving this whole lecture. Oh, this is a problem. Your generation, everyone on their phones. They're not serious. But I was like, bro, I just did my workout with COVID. What are you talking about?
If you
You're talking to the wrong person.
If you only knew. You just caught this glimpse. You didn't see all the stuff that was done right beforehand. Like, I'm actually trying to make sure I'm good and set. But, yeah, no. Oh, it's always those 1 or 2s that do stuff like that, man. It's wild. But,
and then he goes around the gym and he talks to everyone. And he's like, yeah, you should. If we need to talk, we need to set up an appointment. Okay. But you're going around talking to everyone, bro. But, yeah, I needed that day. He just knew. I'm like, Not to sound special, but someone with potential and not to throw it away.
Hmm. That's good. So we move on from there. Getting started. That finally got you into the gym. Like how was high school now? Because that was what, early 13, 14 that time.
Yeah, so that guy, like I said, he showed me his routines,
Hmm.
and that's all he did. He didn't like train me or anything. And then I hadn't seen him for a long time. That's back where I had social anxiety. So I'd be doing sets and stuff, and he's like, "You feel that? You feel?" He kept asking me, how I felt,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't really say. And he's like, "You gotta open up to me." I was like, "Oh, yeah." It's funny. A
He was
couple
really
years
trying to
later,
help
I
you.
did, but I didn't realize the kind of money he had at the time because he just drove a little Nissan, whatever, little
Hmm.
truck or whatever he drove. But I came back to him years later. Do you want me to touch on the high school part
Yeah,
first? I mean, this is more
you
toward
can
high
you can
school.
continuing with that, and we can get slide
Yeah.
on back in.
So come back to him years later. This is probably, yeah, I was around 16 or 17. This is back where, I'm watching all these videos, you need to network and stuff. I had this one coworker. He looked just like Tupac. He's like, you need to put yourself out there and stuff. So that's
Hmm.
what I started doing. I think that was a little after this, but a little before I was already on the idea that's what I need to do. So I went up to him, I want to be a bodybuilder, and he's like, yeah, I know this guy. And he brought him in a couple weekends later. His name's Roger. He's this Mexican kind of guy. He's a bodybuilder, and he's like, yeah, I got a coach and stuff. I'll hook you up. And I just kept the idea in the back of my mind.
Hmm.
I want to finish till I'm done with high school to pursue this because I knew how expensive bodybuilding was going to be and stuff. But
Yeah, that's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. And a lot of people think, oh yeah, I could just do that and just watch what I eat a little bit. And like, no, once you actually want to go to full on doing shows and stuff like that, like my physique, it's easy to attain, but like the actual on stage ready type, it's just very methodical with that. That it really comes down to every little drop of this and that, and every macro and micro make a big difference what you look like on that stage. But continue.
so as
So.
far as through school, like, going up through middle school and through high school, all I cared about was bodybuilding. I train in the morning. I get like 4 hours of sleep. I show up to school. I didn't pay attention at all. I'd zone out because I kind of knew in the back of my mind school's bullshit. A lot of it's propagated and stuff. So I kind of just let it go in one ear out the other. Only paid attention to make good enough grades where I did well and stuff.
Hmm.
I remember I took this AP class or whatever, and going towards the end, this kid was asking me questions. You got to take this exam or whatever to pass the class. It's like based on a number system or
Hmm.
something. But
Hmm. Yeah.
anyways, he's like, yeah, I asked Hunter questions, and he didn't know any of them. He didn't know answers to any of them.
Yes, I definitely had that. I had to take one of those for advanced algebra and trigonometry, and I'm just like, if I pass, I pass. I didn't want to take this class to start with. I wanted to take bridge math, but I was forced to take the AP type class. And we passed it. I saw some people who studied for the test and everything else, and I was one of the ones who didn't study. I just walked in, took the test, and I passed it. I'm like, I took the practice a couple times. I look like I'm fine. I'm like, we'll see how it goes. And I saw a couple people leave that room crying, and I'm just like, it's not that serious. I
Yeah.
mean, it is, but I'm like, I just really didn't care about schooling and everything else. It's more like, I know I passed all my other classes. If I get this, I get a college credit. If not, I'll still pass the class because how high my grade was. But
Yeah,
hmm.
partway through, I was realizing how stupid this is. It's more work when you could just sit up and take it in college and it'd be easier.
Hmm.
But when I got up to turn my paper in on that test, I guess I had ripped my pants or something, and I didn't realize it. Like, they had a hole in them,
Oh
and the
no.
whole room noticed it. Some kid was, because they were always talking about, I had a fat ass back there. He's like, yeah, Hunter, work it, something like that. The whole room, like, was laughing and stuff. But,
Oh, one too many squats.
yep, pretty much. I didn't even squat in those. My shit was just always tight. Whatever. I just always had it going on back there. I'd lost where I was going. Oh, well, anyways. So I was real, had bad social anxiety. Couldn't really talk to anyone. I was trying to finally put myself out there.
Hmm.
And then once I turned around 17, he's like, you sure you don't want somebody to help you out on more size? I'm like, no, I want to wait till I'm done with high school. And he'd really pushed me to get with Evan, because then he had a different coach by then.
Hmm.
So that's how I got in contact with Evan, was through that
Okay.
bodybuilder, which would have been really hard.
Hmm.
Because if you guys don't know, I grew up in a real small town, Tullahoma. I
OT town.
had no connections to Murfreesboro, and that's how I really started get connection was through him. So without him, it would have been pretty much impossible. Now, all you people that train up at Olympus, that's just the hub. You guys are just lucky. You
It's a
just got so
different
many
breed.
gurus just sitting up there chilling.
It's one of those things. It's like me being in Chevyville. It's still somewhat the same, but it's like the ones who trained out of Olympus here. Um, didn't really associate with the people up at that one. Like literally the ones that were here were here. Like our whole group and niche right here we had was the ones here, and then Sean would show up every now and then and stuff like that, make sure everything was running fine when it was still there. But when things went, they went, and it was just like I didn't start meeting any of them really until maybe like 2016, something like that area or so. It was like it was a little bit beforehand. Like I'd randomly stop in once or twice, because I used to have the other membership. That's the only reason why I knew about it. But I heard about all the events they used to have there, so I would just be like, you know what, I'm gonna go up here one time and stuff like that, and worked out there, just checked out the place. Sean was like, hey, come on, bro, I'll cut you a deal, stuff like that. Since you have the original Olympus, one of the ones that was part of the gym and stuff. So he was like, yeah, I'll cut you some deals and stuff and all that. So I would just do a little day pass here and there. And not until recently that I actually got a membership. But it's been one of those things. It's like, I've heard so many people talk about the place. I'll check out the place. I'll just slowly just walked in here, go there, and every now and then, hey, Matt, I want to do a photo shoot. I'm like, well, let's go to Olympus. It's like, it's the one gym I know that's cool with it and everything else. I know people up there, like just knew Sean, but that was about it. But the more and more I went up there, the more people I met, the more I got into like the actual like ambition stuff and working with my boy Tyler, I met more and more people that way. So it's easy to get out of that little shell of the small town, but it feels like it's the hardest thing ever, because it's not just you walk into your main gym and just see everybody like that. But it is very possible easily to get out there, and I'm like, that's one thing I do want to help you with, just getting you out here to see everybody and stuff like that. Got to go to the expo this past year and stuff too. We'll touch on that as we get to that point in the story. But
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you finish up the school, you're finally getting to do bodybuilding and doing some shows now. Like, what was that like? Finally getting with Evan and where you're at now. And
Well, first touch on what you were talking about a second ago. Forgot where I was going to go with that, but it could be worse. I got friends that live out in Grundy County. I mean, they're in the middle of nowhere, man. They got Subway. That's all they got.
yeah,
I make a joke about, man, you got to drive just to Memphis to go to Taco Bell. Basically. I went there to train, and they're training in a prison yard.
Hey, at least they still trying to get it. That is one thing. They at least still trying to get it in.
Yeah.
But that's the real struggle. I'm happy that's not me.
So as far as okay, so I'm about to start bodybuilding and stuff. I'm starting to really pack on size. People are noticing. And the main reason I stuck with it is because when I was around 14, I tried football. I always knew I needed to find something to get at. I'm seeing all these people excel. They're talented at something. Their parents are pushing them to be in sports, whatever. Found bodybuilding. I put like 30 pounds of muscle. Well, I shouldn't say 30 pounds of muscle, but 30 pounds on pretty quickly. Maybe about 4 months. I was like 114 pounds. Went up to whatever, like 145 something. And I was already had a pretty good foundation, but got with Evan, really started adding size, really started trying to be social. But that's when I started going down the wrong path, trying to be everyone's friends and stuff, trying to party, get into parties and stuff. And my parents, they did this indirectly, so it helped me. It actually benefited me. But anytime I'd get social, they'd basically shove me on house arrest, take away everything, and it was
shut it on down.
Yeah, it's because I said so, and it's like no reason why. And it was more of because if I get social, people are giving me genuine support. Then they have less influence. Then they're not the center of attention. So that's what bothered them, because they're pretty narcissistic. Not gonna lie, they both got some.
I've been dealing with people like that this year, and I'm like, I see why. Not everybody is all nice and actually caring, and there's a lot of two-faced people out here nowadays. And I'm like, I see what a lot of people talked about on that, and that's got to be quite hard. I mean, that's where you feel like you should get your most support at, like home, your parents, the ones that brought you into this world. But
Yeah, I've kind of gotten used to it. I'm more of a lone wolf and be example for others. Didn't have much support. Evan was like the father figure that stepped in. I mean, he really saved my life.
That's good.
With
it's always needed.
The sport and stuff. I mean, some of the tactics they were using, because I'd read years later this book on an ex-cult insider, and I was like, wait a second. Because a lot of these families, they got a lot of money. They want the wealth to continue. The kids got to be conditioned a certain way, and they do really, really sick. It wasn't anything physical or whatever. It was just more verbal abuse or whatever. But same symptoms from that. I'm sitting there watching Law and Order with my girlfriend, and some of it, I'm like, for some reason I want to watch the cult ones or whatever. I think it's interesting. It's a little hard to watch because, I mean, some of them are pretty insane, graphic. It wasn't anything like that, but same symptoms. They're asking the girl questions and stuff. She can't answer them. my social anxiety. It used to be so bad, like I'd have my dad's, as crazy as it sounds, voice in the back of my head and stuff, kind of like, because anytime I'd be myself, I'd get punished, kind of like that, restricting me.
Yeah, you were really in chains. You had no freedom.
Yeah.
And it really played an effect on like the prime years of you growing and stuff like that. So I can see how that definitely plays a role in it. And it's like I've started to understand that and people I brought on and stuff. And it's like I'm going to help you get out of that bubble. Like we're going to be free. You're going to have fun. We're going to have a good time and stuff like that. And it's just like the more and more everybody gets to hang out, the more and more I feel like everybody will grow with each other and stuff. And it's just like I can fully just be me, and I'm like, I'll talk to any and everybody. I'm here to have a good time. Ask me any questions you need. Like, what's up? What do you need help with? What do you struggle with? That's always the best with me because it's like my best ability is pointing out my weaknesses, and I will call them out right away and everything else to people and to be like, look, I'm asking for answers. I want help with this part. How can I be better at the end of the day? Because if I get better at the one thing I'm weakest at, I'm going to be a better person all around because I know what my strong suits are too. So.
Yeah, that's what I tried to do, not just be a bodybuilder. That's when I started trying to become full circle, my social. I mean, as far as my, how would you put that? Experience with women. That too. It's a social status, trying to network, all that, just trying to improve. And it set me really far ahead from a lot of people. And that's why people that were a lot older respect me from a younger age. I mean, I was talking to that preacher guy last night. He's telling me how he got invited to this party out in Lynchburg or whatever. And he wasn't expecting it, but I mean, there's guys owning 7 dealerships netting $30 million there.
Wow.
Sitting there, yeah. And I mean, just people coming up to me like that, and just because I got a good head on my shoulders and understanding how the world, I don't know everything, world works, which people will say, oh, you're just 22, you think you know everything, which most people at that age do, and you can't tell them shit.
Yep.
But I'm one of those people that just always I'm willing to listen and learn.
And it's like I say, you got 2 ears, 1 mouth. You know, you'll never know who you might meet or have a conversation with. If you just actually listen, you might pick up a whole bunch more. And that's how I've always been. It's like my boy Tyler called me a sponge, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit back and soak it all in. Like I had these opportunities. I know I'm in this room that I'm lucky and blessed to be in, but you know you got to take it in because you know I'm gonna take full advantage of this opportunity every chance I get. You never know what you might learn and stuff like that, and then at the end of the day, you could help somebody else with that knowledge you obtained at that point. It's like right now it might not make sense to you, but 3 or 4 years down the road, it's just like, oh, that's why I had that conversation. If I would have just blown them off because I didn't know them, who knows what would have happened in this situation. So you never know when something like that might pop up and everything. And it's like, you never know how you're feeling. Like you could be pissed off and everything else, but sometimes you just got to like have that conversation. And at the end of the day, it might help you feel better then, or it might help you down the road, I would say.
Yeah. So whatever, they're placed behind house arrest and stuff. It's surprising. That really goes to show what kind of a coach Evan is. He told me eventually, he's like, you know, I'm not your therapist and stuff. Don't pull you in this because his wife was giving him problems and crap. But he basically told me the reason they're taking away that car is because they're trying to control you. Because I was just trying to get a ride to the gym, man. I had it saved enough for this bullshit car. This kid, who knows, it probably didn't have a title, but it was a Jeep Cherokee like mine. I can't remember how much it was, but I had saved the money for it. And they're like, no, we'll call the cops. You buy that thing. Yeah. Because then the one way to control me was gone. And I had found a way around it.
You got wheels. You can go. You can get away. You can escape. And they can't do nothing about that.
Yeah. And they had lied originally that you can't have a title in your name unless you're 18. And I'm sitting in this kid's car. His name's also Hunter. Pulls out his title, and it's like, it's got your name on it. How do you have that? You're not 18 yet. And he's like, well, you can have a title in your name before you're 18. I was like, damn. So that's what gave me the idea in the first place. But originally what happened with that guy is, so I traded my savings bonds to buy that car. And I gave him like a deposit the day before because I was like, I'm ready to buy it. And my parents were like, no. So he ended up, he's basically this kid. He was working at the skating rink. I didn't notice till after the fact. He's sitting there pocketing shit out of the register.
Jeez.
He sends me when I used to have Snapchat. Freaking hate that up. Hey, drop my money at the bottom of a lake. It's going to take a while to get it. I was like, I'm never getting this back.
Yep,
so I lost all of that.
That's wild.
Yep.
Got finessed.
Yep.
You got finessed right there. Ain't no other way to put it. Got. But yeah, man. So it's like that all happens. We're slowly getting into it. Like just keep going from there. Like, what was next? What was?
So that school's interesting. It's actually, I guess it's a big party school. I mean, they'd have parties every weekend. Somehow they had a frat running out of there. It's a high school. Tell them high school, there's a frat running out of there. And it's been going on since my brother was there. My brother's like 8 years older than me or whatever.
I will have to ask my cousin about this because he was like a couple years older than me. He went to T-Town. I'll have to find out about this. This is all new to me.
The frat thing?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know until like when I was trying to, like I said, getting social and stuff. So I actually got invited to join it towards the end, but I was like, I'm not doing this with the people that they're gonna make me do the stupidest stuff. There's like this challenge, you got to run around the track or something to drink a gallon of milk, and the school actually basically lets it operate there. That's the surprising part.
That's wild.
They'll send because I was in the group chat, they'll send out to the group chat, hey, they're getting a little mad, you guys are being too loud or something. Like they're like, one of the teachers like, oh, that's all where they got to hang out in town, but they're running a frat out of there. There was a sorority too. What are you talking about?
This is not normal. This is high school, y'all.
Basically, you drink beer and drink milk, run around the track or something. But I knew if I was going to be in there, they're going to make me do the stupidest stuff ever to join or whatever. So I was like, screw this. Or whatever. It got really bad. I actually had to do online school towards the end because I had pissed a lot of people off. Like I said, I was partying and stuff. And that's when I realized, okay, I need to get rid of these friends. I had this one friend, he let me throw a party at his house or whatever for my 18th birthday. This one's going to be a longer one, but basically he let me throw a party at his house, and I told him the day prior, don't start drinking until I'm there or whatever. He's blackout drunk by the time I show up. He's busting bottles and shit or whatever. And I jokingly threw an egg at him. He actually threw it at me. I was like, he messed up my hair. I was pissed or whatever. There was girls there I liked. Sorry for my girlfriend on that, but there was girls there I liked.
Man like that. Oh snap!
There was this one girl like right by the cooler, like pretending to reach like right by my head or whatever. Damn near, like, her head was by my dick. It was obvious or whatever. And then he messed my hair up and was like, damn, dude.
Thank you for ruining my whole night.
Yeah. So then they had, like, this radio, and they thought the cops were calling in or something. Oh, the cops about to be here. So we all get in the car, and we go to the high school or whatever. And they take me to another party. It's about an hour away. All right, that one's already busted. So then we go to another one busted. We go to this one. It's in a field. There's this one guy there. He's, like, trying to organize everyone or whatever. Apparently it was, like, his grandparents or something, I don't know. It was a huge-ass field, and I was trying to start, apparently there was a guy there, I was trying to start a fire inside of the fire with beer. He's like, yeah, at another party. I remember you. You're that kid that tried to start a fire inside the fire. Like, I was standing in the fire pouring beer or whatever.
Jeez.
So I'm sitting there blackout drunk. Like, I'm so drunk, I had to pee or something. I had to pee in front of a crowd of people or whatever. I'm like asking for cigarettes and stuff, their food, and they're just giving it to me. But I get left an hour away. It's all the way in Huntland, I think, somewhere by there. And I have this super unreliable friend. Somehow I was able to send him my location on Snapchat. He drives me back to pick my car up from the other kid's house. They're all in there or whatever because they had left me, and they should have been, smart enough not to just leave me an hour away. But I was like, no, I want to stay. But petty. I was drunk. Yeah.
That's petty. You can't just leave somebody. You brought me. You got to make sure. Yeah, I could never do that to people.
Yeah.
That's one of my, no. You came with me, you leaving with me. Yeah. Unless I know for certain somebody else, and they look me in the eyes and tell me, like, nah, I got them, they're good, woo-de-woo. But that's the only way. You pull up with me, then you leaving with me. That's code.
Yeah. And then, so whatever, we go back to his house, his garage door, the back one. I'm sitting out there. I still have videos of banging on the door and stuff, trying to get in. No one's answering the door. So I go in his garage, find these eggs in there, and I just trash everything. 100. They had like the big egg things or whatever, and I egg all their cars. And I go get my car and I leave, and I'm still sleeping or something. Next day it's damn near 4 in the afternoon. And he's like, did you egg all our cars? And I blame this one kid. His name's, because he thought it was that kid at first. He's like, I think it's Ben Daniels. I was like, yeah, it's Ben Daniels. My tires got slashed, all this shit. But my car's gone. What are you talking about?
Right. If you'd have thought about it, he would have known. That don't add up. How did you get home then?
He's like, you're coming to clean this up, or we're calling the cops. And at the time, so that's a whole different story in itself. But I don't have anything on my record. I was able to get it off because I was under 18. But I was on probation at the time, too, so I couldn't fight anyone, and they knew that. So they knew I couldn't fight or whatever, and I had to show up there. Otherwise, I'm going to jail or some shit. So, anyways, we come back there. I come to clean it up, and he's got me at gunpoint.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was at gunpoint. That was my turning point where I almost died. So this is when my sign from God. I need to take bodybuilding serious.
Yes.
I mean, that's not even besides the other fact. I didn't mention that, the part with Evans where he saved my life. There was a couple suicide attempts. I remember I was in the bathroom one day. I threw up all these pills or whatever, and I was like, this guy who's messaging me on had met him at the gym, and he's like, no, it's just another obstacle. And like, I was like, thank you, you saved my life or whatever. He was messaging me while I was about to do it. I already swallowed the pills and then threw them up. I was like, yeah, I'm going to break all my generational curses. And that was another one of my turning points, but here I am still fucking around at parties doing this stupid stuff.
It happens.
Yep.
It does happen because, I mean, it takes something like that to get you back on the right path, but then it's a slippery slope. You can slide back off of it real quick and get back to old ways in just seconds, and it's just like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, let me get back on the actual path. But you actually had that surreal moment and everything else because, I mean, it could have went a lot worse. It could have went a lot worse from the party and lifestyle and everything else, but me, I've always been the one that would just watch others before I would do something. And all the partying and everything else, I watch everybody else. And I'm just like, either A, they're in trouble, B, they're the talk of the town and everything else that you're going to get in trouble if you hang out with them. And I'm just like, you know what? If I don't do any of that, I have my older brother. I can go hang out. I can go do all this other stuff and everything else. So that was one of the things that got me away from most of the people my age when they was all out partying and drinking underage and stuff like that. I was hanging out with my older brother and knew I wasn't going to get in trouble. I had nothing to worry about, and it was just a lot safer. So I had another route, another option, and that was one of the things I got lucky with. Be like, just hanging out with him. It's just like, I ain't got to do all that. I'm going to get to hang out with the older kids and everything else, the ones that are like already out of high school, in high school, getting into college. I'm like, yeah, forget y'all. I'm not going to hang out with y'all. So I got to skip a lot of that and avoid a lot of those downfalls.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely smart, but whatever. Trying to think where. Anyways, he held me at gunpoint and all this crap and stuff. He took me to the bank. He drained my bank account. He was telling me all this alcohol because I smashed all his parents' alcohol too in his driveway. The one friend that was with me, he picked me up. He's one of my childhood friends. He's just as crazy as me. He helped with it. He's like throwing shit on his roof, like a little Crown. We kept trying to bust this Crown Royale bottle, and it just would not break.
It wouldn't go.
It like we threw it up there, and it came down and hit his parents' car and everything. And it's like these souped up cars. They have this tiny ass house, but then they got these cars that are all fixed up that look super nice and shit. It hooded everything. Yeah, it was bad. His girlfriend's in the car just watching this happen, having no idea what's going on. We're busting up his parents' stuff or whatever, but
She's probably full shell shock. Just get me out of here.
Yeah. Anyways, so he did that. He's bragging to people at school. Yeah. Because I knew he'd rob me. A bottle of Patron don't cost $100, man. Where do you think it's getting flighted from France itself? That's what I was thinking.
I mean, the only time it costs that much is if somebody older is buying it for you and you just get hit with that underage tax. Yeah. But yeah, no, a bottle of Patron don't cost that much.
Yeah, I looked it up, added it up, and he's like bragging to people. Yeah, I took everything out of his bank account. It cost him. He paid me more than what it costed or whatever. So it was getting so bad to the point. Then there was this group chat formed or whatever of let's beat Hunter up. Something like that.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. Like a whole group of people. This kid was pissed because he was like in that frat bullshit too. And I guess they're always afraid of me like taking over because I was friends with the head guy that ran it or whatever. Well, not taking over, but just kind of taking the women and them trying to block that cock block and just insecurities. But I jokingly slammed his hand in the door one day. It was a joke. And I kind of laughed, but I didn't say anything back because once again I had social anxiety. So it wasn't sorry or whatever. It was just a joke. But he had his hand on the door, and I jokingly slammed him. So he's part of that, too. He's the one that started that uprising of let's beat him up. And they knew I couldn't fight because I was on probation. I had told him that beforehand because he was like, the guy that held me at gunpoint was my friend or whatever. But so then I got this eye infection right as this was happening. So my eye was like swollen shut, and everyone thought I got in a fight.
Yep.
I had to explain it.
Instantly, that's everybody's first guess would be, yeah, you got in a fight.
And during all this, I was still bodybuilding stuff. I just wasn't consistent. This is when I tried to dirty bulk and stuff. But then I just switched to online school, and I was like, I cut everyone off, all my friends, because there was this one friend I had. He's been supportive more than others and helped me when other people didn't. But there was this one certain girl I liked, and I asked him to be a wingman, and then he tried to just basically get with her. So that really pissed me off. So I just cut everyone off and just tried to get around people like my coach and stuff. And that's when I took it serious. I got in the best shape of my life, and then that's when I got COVID before that show. I was finally shredded to the bone, finally pulled it off, but then I got COVID and then binge ate that week. And
kind of
pulled out.
yeah.
It's like, this ain't happening again.
Yeah, it's very understandable, man. That's a lot. That's a lot to consume and take in right there. But just at that age, like it's still, yes, 20 so almost, and everything else going into 20s, early 20s, and all. But like that's a lot, and some people don't even deal with that much stuff in a whole lifetime that you've already dealt with and everything else, and it just shows like if there's a will, there's a way, and you found that way, and cutting everybody off is. It's one of those things that a lot of people need to do, and it would help them out so much more. But some people just get too comfortable with it, and it's like it shows like you cutting everybody off. Like, look where you're at now.
Yeah.
Like it played a big role in helping you because it's like some people are positive, but there's a lot of negativity and a lot of those things that everybody were doing to you, like that so-called friends pulling a gun on you. That's not a real friend right there, man. Like. That is wild, man.
I don't know if it was or wasn't a real gun, but he had it like down here, and I had it recorded because I knew he's going to probably do something stupid. I said in the group chat, I got the video clip of that because he's sitting there trying to like say, oh, I'm going to put a bullet in your brain and stuff. And then he came to me and he's like, hey, you delete that, I'll delete the security footage I have of you smashing the stuff in my house. I don't think he ever had security footage. There was no cameras.
No.
And he's like, oh, it was just an airsoft gun. That looked like a gun, bro. There was a gun there.
If that was the case, you would have just done that.
Yeah.
You would have went just straight to the law with everything. Now, not trying to pull a gun on you.
Yeah, he didn't want his
that
parents.
puts him in the wrong too.
Yeah.
But, oh, that's wild. But so that all happened, and then what is this? This is about.
I was around 18 there.
18.
I was about to graduate. I remember I was sitting in my graduation, and this is no carbs, so I got no glycogen. I'm drinking a ton of water, a gallon, whatever, and I'm sitting there. I had to pee the entire time at that graduation.
Had to be a struggle.
Yeah, it sucked. It was like 3 hours long, man. I was like, would this thing just hurry up and get over with?
Right.
First thing I did was go to the bathroom, and I'd also cut off my two brothers too, because then as I started adding size, they started getting jealous. They'd do similar to what my parents would do. They probably have the same thing. I'm like the only one besides my sister that's not cursed with either narcissistic personality disorder or autism. Yeah.
Oh my man.
So they'd follow me around and stuff. There was one day my brother had came to the house. I'm sitting there just trying to do schoolwork. This is when I'm trying to lock in whatever. I'm having to do it from home because I wasn't dealing with the fight crap at school. I had to let it die down. Yeah. He shows up. And, I mean, this just makes them sound all insane. I don't have to deal with this anymore. But he shows up, I guess, high on shrooms or something. Mm-hmm. And he's coming to work on his car or something. And I'm like, I know why he's here. He's just trying to create a reason to be here to keep a tab on me. So the garage door stays locked. I'm sitting there just trying to work on schoolwork so he doesn't try to start a fight with me. He's out there screaming and stuff. I finally open the garage and I'm out there. And I had to call the cops on him or something. I had to call the cops on him to talk to him because I'm sitting here just trying to get my sleep schedule back intact. And at the time, too, I was addicted to doing things like, I'd already cut it off, vaping, Adderall, and stuff. So I'm just trying to get my life together. I'm sitting here listening to Greg Plitt while I do cardio. And basically, the cops tell him to, just calm down and stuff because it hadn't gotten physical. And the second they leave, he's still starting to fight me again. And my mom's like, just let him go. Because I'm sitting here just trying to go do cardio. Mm-hmm. It's like 3 in the afternoon and I still hadn't eaten anything. And I'm trying to do fasted cardio because I just woke the fuck up.
They did not want to see you be great. None of them. Just at all, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I don't associate with them all anymore. But yeah, I was just willing to cut off anyone, even if it was family. And I just see anyone as possible potential family. We all come from the same person, the same creator. So
most definitely. True. You don't have to be blood to be blood. Just always look at it like there's a lot of people I call my brothers and sisters out here, and I mean that applies to everybody. But there's also ones that is just like, man, we done been through way too much and everything else, and it's like through it all, we've been here beside each other and stuff like that. And one of my favorite workout partners just hit me about talking about getting back in the gym with me now and everything else, getting ready for a wedding, and I'm just like, hey, if we just get the lock back in, that was some of my favorite times of working out, and it's somebody I know is like, will actually take it serious. That's a lot of problems I deal with. A lot of people that want to come work out with me. It's like, you don't understand. If you want to actually work out during my time and the time I go put in the work, it's like there's no time for games. I don't got time for that. Yeah, I'll chit chat here and there, but when we actually putting in work, it ain't time to be playing around and goofing around like trying to cheat. I'm like, no, it's a you versus you thing, and I'm not about to cheat myself in here during this time.
Yeah, that's all you'd be doing is cheating yourself.
Mm-hmm. At the end of the day. But yeah, you get graduated up out of there, and Well, we're getting close to about when I met you now. So we what?
So I was
Couple
like in my
years
20s. I was going to Motler or whatever. This is
Mhm.
right before Night of Champions. Man, I freaking hated that class. I had this accountant that I swear she took Adderall or something. She was so quick with it. I'm in contest prep trying to even interpret all this shit. I still did good in the class, but damn, was it hard. But
Mhm. It was.
this is more before, I'm not sure if I was starting social media yet. I had this old friend who used to own Flex Up, and I have no idea what happened to him. He must have lied to me about a lot of stuff, but he was still really supportive, so I don't want to completely shit on him. He used to own Flex Up, and he's like, yeah, you need to start pursuing social media and stuff. So I'm here. I work at the base gym or whatever. I'm trying to film content in there and stuff. I can tell it kind of irks people. That show, I ended up, so I would have won it, but there was this guy. It was so close. It probably was a little political, even though it's just a little, whatever, amateur show. It was so damn close. He's a little bit older. They had me dead center, but then they moved me because my gut was coming out a little bit too much between posing, and I had ate candy the night before, and I was like, well, I've had cheat meals before, but when you're that dialed in, it's so easy to spill over, so I didn't listen to my coach. I ate that shit. Then I took second when I could have beat the guy, so that really pissed me off.
It could be something that small. But yeah, wrapping back to that Flex Up, you're like, yeah, he's CrossFit. They got a CrossFit. He mostly does Olympic lifting now and stuff like that. So he let that
Oh, no,
go.
not Trey Stewart.
Okay. I was like, you my Trey.
No, not Trey Stewart. I wasn't going to say that's probably better to specify. His name was Johnny Hill.
Mm.
So he had originally, he sold some like lyrics for a song or something and made some good money. He's lived in Nashville for a while, and then he bought the gym hoping that it would be like just complete passive income by itself without having to do any improvements. And I had heard they're going in the negatives and stuff. And there's two different stories of that. So basically, he told me that his business partner that was going to buy the other guy out, think Marshall, his name's John Harris, was going to buy him out. And apparently he was making promises and he's buying stuff off credit cards, but he didn't have enough equity in his home to borrow against his collateral. That was his story. But then I asked John Harris about it, like, what's the whole deal? Which this might partially be true. Basically, he said that Johnny tried to get John Harris to sign all of his debt over his collateral. So then he backed out, and he had told me that he hadn't sold the place. They're like screwing him over or something. Phil's wanting to buy it, but they're trying to sell it for a price he ain't happy with, so he's suing them. So I don't know if that lawsuit ever actually went in effect, but he's like held like whatever the hell it is, meeting bullshit. All the town or businesses tell him to show up and stuff. So I kind of find it hard to believe. Because then he had told this other girl I'd worked with, because he used to come out there because he worked at the base, that he had sold it. And I was like, he hasn't sold it yet. He told me he hasn't. But I think he was trying to bank on my influence and do something else with me or something. Or influence he thought I might have in the future. So that's probably partially it. And then he showed up for my birthday or whatever. Or he was, for my 21st birthday, he was going to take me out because he knew I was having issues or whatever. At the time I had dated this girl, and she really... Well, we had to end things, and it like broke my heart and stuff. But he was gonna take me out to try to find someone different, and then he just kept dragging it all out the whole day. Oh, my wife ain't home yet. She's coming back from a wedding. Still ain't home. Now it's damn near 9. All the bars are shut down and shit. So then,
Come on, man.
he's like, "Well, at least get a picture with you. Sorry that happened." And whatever, we got the picture. I had him hold this airsoft gun. It looked just like a real gun. So that's probably what spooked him. He's like, man, there's a cop right there and stuff. And I was like, man, don't worry about it. They're not going to say nothing. Because it's got an orange tip on it. Even if they do, just be like, hey, we're just doing a photo shoot.
Right, yeah. It's got the orange tip for a reason for them. Literally, that's the reason it's orange.
So we get the photo, whatever. He's a little freaked out. He's telling me about his wife. And I'm basically telling him, because I have some pretty good experience with it and stuff. I've had a lot more relationships than people have had for my age and stuff. But anyways, I was telling him he's getting in his car, and I was just like, really thanking him for doing that for me or whatever. And then never saw the guy again, ever. I don't know if his wife blocked me on everything or what. He won't answer nothing. And then he just basically, yeah, he got a job up at Lockheed Martin in whatever, Huntsville, and never heard of him again. And I don't think anyone in the town has, so he may have not told the truth on that, might have, but.
Who knows?
I don't know.
It's probably just left better off the way it is right
Yeah.
there, man.
But he was really helping me at the point we're at now. So I'm sitting here, I'm trying to make content and stuff. It is a mess at work, man. I tried to date this coworker. You should never try to date coworkers.
No, that
Yeah, that was a mess. I don't know why. I knew she liked me for about 6 months, and I just completely ignored her. She thought I hated her because of that. But the reason I was ignoring her is because it's like, if I talk to you, things are going to start going in that direction. I'm not doing that shit.
This is the setup. I know how this is gonna go.
Yep. And then, can I specify? I'll try to keep it more descriptive. Anyways, this other lady that had worked with me too, I was training with her, but she was married, and I was like, okay, she's married. She's way too old. Surely she's not actually interested in me. So I tried to train with her 1 or 2 times, and the other girl doesn't like it, whatever. That's kind of why things ended. So I'm trying to film. I'm filming in the gym every day. Yeah, I'm filming in the gym every day. I'm just trying to make content. I'd done Facebook ads for a little bit, and then already this company is wanting to work with me, EDST, marketing company. Then it also even got me discovered by this one interesting individual. It's like this gay guy.
Uh-oh.
Every time he'd call me, first to be friendly and stuff, then he'd call me, he's sitting there trying to get me naked and shit.
I knew where that was headed.
Yep.
I knew where that was. Yep.
We make a joke about it in one of my YouTube videos. My friend was like, because it's like anytime, can you do something for me? It's like, I don't know, man, can you put a thong on?
It was fine. It was fine. It was good. And then just way over the line.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally how that just, no. Oh, man.
Anyways, he's out in California, so it's getting my name around a little bit, so happy about that or whatever. But filming in there, things are starting to grow a little bit, and then, I had to tell that because things were getting weird between her. I mean, Lord have mercy, man. I'm trying to remember how I went about that. Oh, unfollowed her in the gym one day. I'm training or whatever. My friend, which she ain't gonna like this, but the Johnny guy's in there or whatever, and he's like, yeah, just unfollow her. So I unfollow her. Within 5 seconds, she's back there, man. I'm doing a set of squats to see a figure. I was like, who's behind me? And she's there waiting. Why'd you unfollow me? Why'd you unfollow me?
It's wild to see that she was that locked in and in tune and knew instantly that you had.
She had to been just sitting there looking at it.
Yeah. There's no, why'd I lose a follower? I don't even know what my follower count is.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice if somebody does unfollow me. But, bruh, she was a little obsessed. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, it's bad, man. It's bad. It's bad. I'm still dealing with this shit 2 or 3 years later. But anyways, I basically don't give her a straight answer, and I was like, you're messing up things between me and that other girl. She's like, oh, really? And then goes out into the parking lot. And I thought she was gone. I went out there to swap shoes or something. I had done working out. I was going to, go back on the clock. And she's sitting out there, trying to con me into refollowing her. I thought I saw you as a son and shit, which was complete bullshit. Fake crying and stuff.
Yeah,
so she gets the refollow. I come into work the next day. She's sitting there harassing me. Do you need help? Do you need help? Worried I'm going to tell or whatever. And then, can't remember what ended up happening that day. Oh, she told me you can't film there anymore. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I was like, there's no policy on the filming thing. So they're trying to enforce stuff that's not even policy. That's when I really got upset. Like, I was almost about to have to sue them and stuff, send a cease and desist in the mail. That's stuff where I can't follow. Then they try to get me to go through what's called public affairs and have every single post approved, which they knew would be too much of a headache and how long they'd take. You can't post consistently. So I wouldn't sign the papers from that. I asked Johnny, which he really helped me with that. He was asking a lawyer about it. So I didn't sign that. And then they ended up, a whole base commander just made a policy just for that gym where you can't film. And it's mainly because of her. That's why this was put in effect, because she goes to staff meetings and stuff. And it was hell-bent because she could no longer film. And she's sitting here posting me, trying to make her husband jealous and shit. I remember the day before I trained her the second time, because we went to Flex Up that day. It was called Flex Up at the time. And he showed up randomly for some weird reason. She probably been like, hey, I'm going to train with somebody. He's probably like, yeah, she's done this shit before. She told me about some other trainer that stood her up. I wonder why.
Yeah, now you're starting to put 2 and 2 together. It's making a little more sense. Oh, man. So how'd that go?
Okay, whatever. She's just putting posts up and crap. There was one time she put on her story, damn near her tits out towards the end, man. Like up like this. She was showing me pictures of the women with abs one day. And I was like, women with abs really just aren't attractive to me. She's like, what? How's it masculine? She made a whole post about me. I had to apologize so it wouldn't be weird at work or whatever. This is before the whole you can't film stuff. We were still talking a little bit or whatever. But once we got to the whole no filming thing, we had to get her to sign an agreement. She wouldn't stalk my accounts and all this stuff, or wasn't supposed to talk about anything that wasn't work related. And they essentially blackmailed me when I turned her in. They blackmailed me. They tried to keep it all in house so it wouldn't move up the proper chain of command. It was super unprofessional.
Jeez, man.
They sat me all in a room and HR just observed, and so there's people above my boss on the chain of command. The person above him, his boss, was present. And then the person above her was present, and she was sitting here reading the chat logs, which she shouldn't be doing. And I'm having to give all my personal details in front of a room of people. And they basically had a sign of agreement and basically blackmailed me, we'll just move you somewhere else or something. Or if it's a problem again, come back to us. But they basically did that so that it wouldn't move up the chain of commands. It probably investigated because she was the new services director at the time. So it's still a whole mess. They're still screwing my hours and stuff. And it's actually criminal. I found out the stuff they've done. Yep.
That doesn't surprise me. That little info I just got on them, there had to be so much more shady, pun intended, that they were doing.
Yep.
Behind the scenes, man.
Yeah, they're sitting there asking me stuff like, "You ever had a girlfriend?"
What? that is not what needs to be asked in this situation.
She literally said, "If you ever need a good kiss, something about come to her or something," and she literally has a photo of her kissing, and they sit there and they read that. I think this is just motherly love. What?
See, you sound like some P. Diddy activities. That's exactly what that sounds like, some P. Diddy activities. Yeah, it's all fine. This is normal. Yeah. No.
Wait, so yeah, that was going into the state show. I mean, all that did was motivate me. I remember I'm sitting there in the woods. You can't really get closer to God unless you're completely isolated, so I'm completely isolated. And that's, when I was spiritually awakened the most. Really getting tested hard. I remember the only sport I had going into that show was myself. I didn't even want my parents to go there. Except for you probably know Frank Cook.
Mm-hmm.
He was there. Coach was there. This guy, years ago, he had talked shit about me. Like, he used to bust my balls every day. I'm like 12, 13. He's sitting there. I don't know about that stuff. I'm sitting here taking it personal.
Just messing with you the whole time.
Yeah, just making, like, ooh, you walk like this and stuff. And I'd take it personal. I didn't know how to take jokes back then. And he's like, "Listen, man, you're not big. One day you will be bigger than me." So, anyways, that always stuck with me. So he shows up to my shows years later. And prior to this, he's all bragging, "Man, you've had all kinds of muscle. You did what everyone said they weren't going to do." And he brought his whole family, and that just really meant a lot that he did that. Somebody talking shit, and then he's out there in the crowd supporting me and stuff.
He was picking on you to get better. That's literally what that is. That is the I actually believe in you picking on type mentality. Like, I've dealt with a lot of people like that, and it's just like some of them do. And I'm like, but if I have something big like that, they would be the ones that would show up the most in support. And those are definitely needed along the lines, keeping you on the actual right path and all. So.
And that show, I mean, prior to it, a lot of people don't like him. Some of his mindset stuff's good. Some of his stuff I don't agree with. But I kept repeatedly watching while I do cardio. Mindset of a G by Andrew Tate. So that's really what helped me come out there and fix what I screwed up last time. If you come out there unsure of yourself, I mean, even that and your body language is going to fuck with your posing.
It's going to show.
So I came out there just like, even my coach said, you could have been a little bit tighter. Because, I mean, going into this show, I didn't even touch on that part. Oh, my Lord. 1 or 2 weeks out, I had this bad experience with, like, an edible I got from a shop.
That was a setup, bro.
Yeah, this was just a couple years ago. There was some girl I was supposed to meet at the airport or something. She ended up not showing up, so I'm sitting walking around the airport for hours, and I'm like, okay, my blood sugar's getting low as shit. You could actually go hypoglycemic during contest prep. So I get something from the machine, it turns into a binge. I go home like a little bitch about it, and I go to the edible, whatever you call those stupid smoke shops.
Smoke shop, yeah.
And I'm like, give me the strongest thing you got. He's sitting here giving me, so I have no tolerance. He's sitting here giving me this edible. I'm in contest prep. No, barely any food on my stomach. So I don't know how many milligrams.
Barely any body fat either.
Yeah, how many milligrams it was. Like, I always want to say 5,000, but it was probably 500 milligrams.
It was definitely not 5,000.
It's probably 500.
They would not have gave you. I've only seen one person eat somewhere up in those milligrammage, and that person literally had a severe thing of pain and stuff like that he dealt with on a daily basis. Yeah, it was probably 500, and that was still way too much. Way too much for you. As much as I know on this topic, 10 milligrams would have been enough.
Oh yeah, 10. That's where I was going with it. So I ate the entire thing.
Yep, mistakes were made.
And when that thing, when it hit. I was in bed and I couldn't even move. My whole body was paralyzed. I couldn't even control my breathing consciously. And I'm sitting trying to run to the bathroom to throw up. It felt like my bed was waves. I'm sitting there trying to throw up. I just couldn't throw it up. And next day, so I tell my coach about it, whatever, and I go to see him. He makes me go talk to him in person and stuff. He's like, man, if I even take 20, I want to run off the roof. 20 milligrams. You're sitting here taking 500 2 weeks out of a show.
Yo. I instantly do. Yeah, it literally like it's a roller coaster ride. Like once you're on it, there's no coming off of it until it ends, dog.
It was like psychedelics. It lasted
Yeah.
3 days, the high.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even joking.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. I might have had brain damage from that.
Jeez. Yeah, you gotta. I know some real deal people that do this all the time. They still wouldn't touch that much, man.
Yeah.
Like you went and did it.
Yep.
Dang.
I'm an extremist. So we ended up pulling a Hail Mary. I'm getting dialed in. It was as low as body I'd ever had. Could have been a tad bit tighter down there. That's what he was talking about. And he was like, yeah, even though you knew you could have been tighter, you still came in out like a winner, and he was proud of me. And I even actually got this trophy. They usually don't give for, I think what is it? Is it the novice, your first time, you never placed first in a class?
Mm-hmm.
So they actually gave me a big trophy for that. They never gave me the plaque for it like they said they were going to. Never showed up.
Hey,
But I still got that, and they normally don't offer it, so I got lucky that year.
that's dope though.
And I pulled all that off dealing with the frickin' sexual harassment at work, can't film, trying to sue people. Also had worked with this marketing agency. It's called Gateway. So the original founder of it has the person has giveaways on YouTube.
Mm.
He was doing the big giveaways. He's the one that came up with the idea. He had some really big names, all the big name rappers. They were out in California. I mean, connections to Beverly Hills. So I was working with them. Things were going well for a while. But then towards the end, they knew they were going bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
So then it was based on an electronic check system, how you would pay them every month. So they just start draining money out of my account. Well, in contest prep.
What?
They're like, yeah, we accidentally charged you twice. And then my marketing manager, it wasn't even his fault. It was just the guy above him doing slimy stuff. He knew he was going bankrupt. Here's his number. Can you send a refund? He's like, yeah, sure, we'll do that. Charges me again.
Oh.
So they just kept charging me and charging me and charging me. So then I asked Johnny about it. He's like, yeah, you need to go inside Ascend and get an affidavit of forgery. So that's what I ended up doing, because it's technically not your money until it's in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
So the banks got involved. I ended up getting my money back. But my account was in the negative for quite a few weeks there, and I'm in contest prep needing to pay for shit. I was scared.
Talk about unnecessary stress being added on top right there. Jeez, man.
Yeah, and I ended up still placing first time in the novice thing, and then what was I? I don't know what I was. It's right before light heavy. Middleweight. I was a middleweight and placed first in my class for that, and that qualified me for nationals. But then I was trying to really add size. I wanted to win the overall.
Mm-hmm.
Get into, because you get to pose down against the people that.
Yeah, the heavyweight, super heavies.
That really motivated me. And if I was able to get up to 200, I was getting up to 190 and dieted down. I probably could have pulled it off, but then I tore my chest.
Yeah. Let's get into this.
The tear chest story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We gotta give some backstory and everything else that I've heard about.
Okay, so there was this ex-girlfriend I had.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful to my current girlfriend, but this girl could have been model level. I mean, it's not even about that. First 6 months I knew her. She was everything perfect on paper, and how she acted, and we had all the same interests and stuff, and would never disrespect me, and was everything I could have wanted, and then it just went south instant. Complete love bomb, flip it on you, flip the script, I'm gonna own you type shit.
That's been a recurring thing. I've heard people just the love bombing.
There's no telling what this girl was involved with, who taught her or what. Her parents were actually involved with, it's called informal mining, where she is originally from.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they had a lot of money. They basically would do like these mines bullshit. She used to send me pictures of when she'd go there or whatever, when they'd send her there to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever, she'd observe it and stuff. There was one time they sent her out to Lima. That's like the capital of where she was from originally.
Mm-hmm.
And she did something one time where, like, I don't know what she was doing. Her brother's like, don't message her. It's dangerous. It's like, what?
Hmm? What do you mean?
Don't message her while she's at work at all. And she wasn't aware they told me that. I don't know if they were messing with me or what. But apparently, whatever they were doing, so they're like, that's like where the stage where the gold's sent, melted down, where you wear it over the border so it's not put into the gold supply. Which honestly isn't stupid. Or I kind of agree with that. It's dumb. It needs to be taxed. But the part where it's bad is when you get around those people that are smuggling gold, then you got people that are literally smuggling children and guns. Because I asked him, his friend, he lives in Ecuador, and I was like, you know anything about this and stuff? And he said, yeah, there's this really evil man in town, and he always messes with me like, you're this short guy. And he basically told me how to, you know, deal with people that are trying to, what I call de-alpha, lower your confidence and stuff because they're insecure.
Bring down, yep.
Yeah, so he's like, yeah, he's like, he'll whatever, he plays along with it back. But so she's around that for like a month. That's when she's really seriously involved with her, whatever. When I went to see her for a while, and I eventually had brought it up. Hey, my friend said this, that, and the other, and she like was like crying and stuff. Was like, yeah, they smuggle children. And I couldn't do it, and she only worked there like a month or some shit. But she would basically just stay home and clean all the fucking time while her parents claimed they worked in wood and stuff. But that's probably how they laundered it. And her aunt and uncle owned like a what do you call that? Fucking tool shop, whatever the hell.
The blacksmith?
No, not a blacksmith. Just like whatever, a hardware store or something.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, there's no way in hell that shit's pulling in money.
Yeah, like it should be making the yeah. That reminds me of somebody that was driving a nice car around here, and it's just like, you don't make that much working on a farm.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. I know what you're doing. But that's another story for another day. I ain't gonna touch on that. That's a very sensitive topic in this town. But
yeah, so I had really seeked out help. Did the whole therapy thing, got it fixed, got rid of my traumas and stuff. She did a lot of damage with the whole love bombing and stuff. And I know she truly loved me for who I was and stuff, but I just couldn't look past the whole love bombing. For some reason, she had some insecurity. I guess people had used her in the past, cheated on her or whatever. So she thought to maintain somebody like me, that's what she had to do, which didn't make any sense. Just be yourself, that's all I asked for. But she never could correct it. And whoever she was listening to, I don't know who she was, some of the people she was working with or whatever. But
I was feeding something into her.
So anyway, she's pissed off. I hadn't talked to her in a very long time, completely cut her off, did my healing and stuff. And then randomly, whatever, I get sick or something. I was like, okay, I'm sick. This is weird. Sick out the blue, and I know she's probably mad or whatever, even though I hadn't talked to her in a very long time. And because I know she had made threats about it, and what did she say? Oh, she had told me one time, because I had read in this book, I think it was from the Ex-Cult Insider, how people of her culture like sacrifice stuff before a gold mine. So I was like, okay, she's probably into occult stuff. I know she talked about it before, astral travel and stuff, and knowing things about that. And then a long time later, I asked her again about it, and she's like, no, that's stupid. Oh, I don't know anything about it. I don't know what you're talking about, manipulation. She talked about this Aphrodite bath, like it's like a Greek goddess and shit. And I had interrogated her about it one time. She's like, no, it's just something I saw on TikTok. It's like, oh, you seem to know a lot about goddesses and stuff. She's always saying, yeah. Her brother's like, yeah, she's from Aphrodite and all this crap.
Signs are in the pudding.
Yeah. And I don't know if she was involved with, like, leading men on or what, too. Like, as far as trying to, like, scam them out of money, which is possible, which is why she would do that stuff. But anyway, so that leads into... I get sick, and then I recover. Then, a week later or so, things are going really well in terms of with other women. I get in a car wreck or whatever. Right as I'm about to go talk to one on the phone, I said I was going to go talk on the phone. I get in a car wreck, rear-ended, concussion. This is all in the span of 3 weeks. Concussion. And the whole thing was weird because the people didn't stop at all. They went straight in the back of me. So it had to have been some kind of scam. Because they were telling me, can we just not get the cops involved? And I'm still in shock. I didn't even know what a concussion was. I just got a concussion. He's like, let's just not get the cops involved. Let me just give you your number. I'm sitting there thinking, I know damn well you ain't ever going to answer or call me fucking back. I'll give you some numbers.
We'll never get to the bottom of this. You don't have something in the line that, yes, that's why you don't want the cops involved.
So as I'm going up there, I was like, yeah, we don't need the cops involved. It's like at 7-Eleven by the light. That's where I got rented because the people in front of me weren't moving. And they were claiming the people in front of me were moving and I just wasn't moving, which wasn't true. They just went right in the back of me and my whole back windshield busted up. But as I'm driving over there, I call him. They send an unmarked. He was there within seconds because this is the day the, whatever you call it, 41A festival was going on.
CMA.
Yep. So that was going on. And anyways, come to find out later, they probably did that because they were going to like go home, never call me, and then claim, oh, something else happened to their car and get money.
Some kind of insurance fraud, something like that. That was.
So I'm at work one day. This guy comes in, never met him. I've always kind of seen him around or whatever. He's super talkative, cool. He does something with helping veterans with suicide or something. Some weird technology where you can literally do someone like check up on their health through the screen with like scanners and stuff now. Thought that was cool. And then I told him the whole story, and he's like, "You don't have some crazy girl mad at you, do you?" And I was like, it's interesting you say that. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Possibly do.
Yeah. So then, after that, not too long after, tear my chest, all in the span of 3 weeks. I'm in the gym, about to lift one day, and chest already felt weird, and I got this, I almost thought about not doing a spot that day, and there's no one asked for a spot. It's Saturday, only old people show up and stuff. Not a soul in there, and I asked this guy to spot me. 5th or 6th rep, but just tear it with 285. Yep.
Man.
I drive myself up to Nashville because, once again, I don't want to deal with my parents and stuff, which is a whole story with after surgery. So drive myself up there, one armed with a torn chest.
Jeez. Hey, gotta do it sometimes. You gotta be that independent person. This is what comes with that, being an independent person right there, though.
But thankfully, I have so much other support now. It doesn't really bother me and stuff. Like I said, rather walk alone than with fools. And then I just created my own circle of people that actually want to be around me.
Most definitely. Like, you can always call me nowadays. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, like literally that whole span and everything else. Just I'm like, bro, you got to come on and talk about this, because that's just a whole nother level of thing to deal with out here in this world. And it's just like, she played a role in that. I could be the first one to admit it to you, dog. She definitely played a big role in all that stuff happening, and just
either that or the person that's actually harassed me. I don't know, man. There's too many people pissed off at me for existing.
Hey, hate you or love you, it's always going to be that way. There's always going to be the people that hate you, and then there's always going to be the ones that's going to love you. It's like I can try to do everything to help everybody. There's still going to be people that's going to hate me. And I've learned a lot of that too. There's a lot of them that are here that support me but don't really support me. They're just mad that they're not in the position I'm in. Doing what I'm doing and stuff like that. And it's just like, as I've always said, like, anybody can do it. Because if I can do this, you can. I was the guy that was all quiet, didn't talk to anybody and everything else. I've just slowly put it in the work. I've built the connections. I've hung out with the people. I've done the work and stuff like that. Like, it's all it takes, putting the time in. And I put the time in to get to this point. And so many people think it's shortcuts and all this. And it's just like, no. If you want to do it, you got to put the work in.
Yeah, I'm so happy I've done all that stuff now and tried to become full circle. I mean, I'd have to go to places completely by myself, towns, people I didn't know, to try to meet new people and stuff, and most people aren't even willing to do that.
No.
And that's the problem.
Especially not now. Nowadays, no. Oh, no. What do you mean go out and be social? Some people can't even go, like, the store nowadays. I'm just like, what do you mean you can't just go? Just go. Yeah. I don't know. I might see somebody I know. I'm like, shouldn't that be a good thing? But,
that is odd.
Yeah. It is. It's one of those things, man. So, like, we good hour in and everything else, and I'm gonna just go ahead and wrap it on up here, man. It's like it's been a real journey. You've been through a lot, and I like to ask this question at the very end. At the time, what did you think? I mean, you've done told many of these already, but what was your biggest setback, but actually ended up being one of your biggest blessings, man?
It's got to be the chest hair, because that's sitting there in the back of my mind. Well, why did this happen? I'm not going to sit there and blame her for this happening. I'm going to blame myself. I actually accept responsibility. Well, my recovery could have been better if I wasn't sacrificing so much sleep with her. Maybe I wouldn't have torn my chest. So much toxicity. I mean, I was constantly stressed out all the time because of her, and she would have never listened. I mean, it's just an example of, don't let those people in your life, otherwise they're going to tear down everything you've built. And to prioritize the bodybuilding and just seeing how everything aligned, getting hooked up with a good surgeon and stuff, and how lucky I got with the surgery. I mean, I just feel like that's why I'm here, to inspire other people with it too. And there shouldn't be any excuse with any obstacle. Just look at it as a lesson, not why did this happen? This is someone else's fault. Accept the responsibility. If you don't have any obstacles, you'll never become anything.
Most definitely. That was well said. Well said. I mean, you hit on a couple things I like to say even in that too, and it's just like it all makes sense. It's full circle. Everything happens for a reason. It's for the better at the end of the day, and everything else. It's never a loss. It's always a lesson, and you got to take from what you can from that. And with that being said, if you like the video, leave a comment, check them out. Where can they find you at? Where can they find you at on all the socials, man?
Instagram, my new page. I'm going to start up my coaching one, prioritize growing that more. Flex Shady Coaching. So you can really just type that in, no underscores. It's easy to find.
Most
TikTok will be Flex Shady Fitness. And then as far as my YouTube, we have an interesting spin on it. It's called Huntai Fitness. Because it's hunter and Thai, but it sounds like hentai. So when you first typed it in, Huntai, it literally bring up porn. You couldn't even find the channel.
I'll leave the links down below. Yeah. So nobody goes to the wrong websites, man. It is always, man.
Now it's Huntai Fitness, though.
I'll leave it all below, but that just made my day, man. I'm done. I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed our shoot with you and Ty. That was a great time. I can't wait to do more. But as always, guys, y'all have a good one, and God bless.
For sure.
Right. But most of the time, people don't really realize that. A lot of people are going to sleep. A lot of people. There's a lot to sleep on, right? Maybe. It's about time we start giving people wake-up calls. So guess what? This one will be the first wake-up call. It'll be the first wake-up call. Very much if you've been sleeping, I'll make sure that you're awake. You know what I'm saying? He'll make sure you're awake.